And just breathe. And as you breathe, just gently let that soft breath calm you down. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. That sense of ease. That sense of peace. And just let all of your worries and tensions just fall off you. It's okay. Let your breath take care of them. You don't have to worry about it. Your breath will worry about it. And just feel that peace of the Dhamma and that peace of letting go settle into your heart. And just think of all of these people all around the world, all joining together in peace. All right, so let's come out of meditation now. When we practice Dhamma, I think it's important to remember that the purpose of Dhamma is the purpose of peace, the Shanti Rasa. And all of this, all of the things that we've done to support the Bhikkhuni order, all of the things we've done to build monasteries, to train people, to write books, to do all of these things, all of this is just there to serve the cause of peace. I speak to you today from Parramatta, or Harris Park, near Parramatta in Australia. This is the land of the Barramadigal people of the Darug Nation. And they have looked after this land for tens of thousands of years. Without them, it would not be what it is today. And one of the things that I've learned in my time as a monk, as an Australian monk, is that there is a lot of wisdom in the world. One of the pieces of wisdom that's really shaped who I am today was something I learned as a young man. I met long time ago and a long distance away, I met an Aboriginal elder called Ken Colbung in Perth. And we talked about vegetarianism. And he said something that's really stuck with me all these years. He said the reason he's a vegetarian is because in his tradition, they would never harm a single animal, that they saw all creatures as their brothers and their sisters. And he said that they would only ever kill if they needed to survive. And they would always apologize if they had to hunt a kangaroo or a snake. They would apologize to it and they would say, I'm so sorry, my brother. I'm so sorry, my sister. I've had to hurt you, but I have to feed my family. I know that you understand we have to live. And he said, these days, I can just drive down the shop and buy some tofu. Never mind. So I don't have to kill. He said that's his tradition. And so for him, his tradition was a living thing. It wasn't something which was fixed. It wasn't something which was rigid. It was something which was there to serve the people and to support the people. And he said sometimes today young Aboriginal kids, they'll say, oh, you have to eat snake, you have to eat kangaroo, otherwise you can't be a real Aboriginal. He said they don't know what they're talking about. And that lesson on what the real meaning of tradition is something that I've always carried through to today. So if we are to speak of those who are worthy of honour, to me, those who are worthy of honour are those who have found a way to realise that liberating peace of the Dhamma in their lives. We can write all of the books, we can maintain all the libraries, we can do all of those things, but until we've actually experienced that peace, experienced that metta, experienced that freedom, then it's all just words. It's all just a dead letter. And it's so important for any tradition to keep on questioning and to keep on challenging itself. And not just to get stuck in one way of doing it. We heard from Venerable Bhikkhu Bodhi earlier how he said, before he thought one way, then he looked at it more deeply and then he saw it another way. I had a similar kind of journey, and I'm sure many people here have done that as well. Our Dhamma has to be alive and it has to face the challenges that are real in the world. I was just looking, before this talk, I was looking at one of my favourite photographs. There's a photograph from the Mangalyam Mars mission that India sent up in 2013, I think. They sent a rocket to Mars for, I think, $85 million. It's less than it cost to make a movie about going to Mars. And the photo afterwards is all of these Indian women in their saris celebrating in the Indian Space Agency. And these were the scientists who had sent this rocket to Mars. And they were laughing and dancing and hugging each other with such joy. And just to see that photograph combined three of my favourite things: India, space, and amazing women doing incredible things. And I think in Buddhism that if we lack bhikkhunis, if we lack a place for women to fully express their spirituality and to follow that path of peace, then we're not going to go to Mars. Like, metaphorically speaking, I'm not actually thinking of going to Mars, but we have so much potential, so much intelligence, so much energy, so much compassion, so much life, so much vitality that's brought to the Sangha through the Bhikkhuni Sasana. And there are so many things that have become possible that simply were not possible beforehand. In Australia, we now have how many? 4 full-time Bhikkhuni residences in Australia for Theravadan Bhikkhunis. 5? 6? I think 6. Anyway, I'll have to think of a few more as we go along. That's just in the Theravada tradition, and of course many more in the Vietnamese and Korean and so on traditions. And so all of these things become possible because people have some faith because people believe and because people are willing to challenge those things. And in my life, I've seen so much dedication and so much love and so much care shown by the people who want to bring the fully ordained Bhikkhuni order to a flourishing life within Theravada Buddhism. Many years ago, when we went through some challenges in making it all happen, and it was traumatic. I mean, I have to say, for me, it was traumatic. And I'm sure for many of the Bhikkhunis here, they've been through a lot, obviously much worse trauma than I've been through. It was traumatic, it was difficult. And one of the things that I got some energy and some support was from one of our wonderful Buddhists in Sydney here, Tamgan Nguyen, who said to me, Bhante, she said, don't worry if they kill you, you can just come back again and do it again next lifetime. And that spirit to say, this is what matters. Doing the Dhamma matters. And it's so important for us to make this a reality in our world. We have to manifest the Dhamma in our world. Look at it. Look at climate change. Look at the division in the world. Look at the conflict and the strife in the world. We have to manifest the Dhamma fully in every way we possibly can to try to do something about that. Somebody mentioned a little bit earlier about the Bhikkhuni education, small bit of Bhikkhuni education that I was able to contribute to with Ayatata Loka in Bodh Gaya many years ago. And it was amazing for me at that time to see these Bhikkhunis and Samaneris, most of them living in Maharashtra, they're Ambedkar Buddhists, and just to see the work that they had done in their communities to heal people, to bring people together with nothing, no education, no support, nothing. And we sat down and we taught them some classes and so on. And for me, it was just ordinary. It wasn't that ordinary, but it was still ordinary. To get a class and get a Dhamma class, I've always had teachings. I've always had knowledge accessible to me. I've always had the opportunity to do these things. But for these women, no. This is, for some of them, they'd been ordained for 10 years or 20 years and they'd only ever read the Dhammapada or maybe Ambedkar's book. And that's it. That's all they knew about Buddhism. They'd never had the opportunity to learn any more. And so there's this huge gap and this huge opportunity that we have to be able to make something wonderful happen. And when we go down this path, I think one of the things that we see is that we clarify or we learn who is really following the path of Dhamma. When I was in Thailand many years ago, around the time we were going to do this Bhikkhuni ordination, I had a very kind of hostile reception at one monastery, and one monk was thundering at me, no Theravadan monk will ever support Bhikkhuni ordination. And I'm like, I don't know, actually, quite a few. And then from there I went to another monastery, and the other monastery is a monastery of my teacher, Ajahn Mahachacha, who taught me metta meditation in Bangkok. And I remember still going to that monastery and just this feeling of warmth and love and joy that I had, even just to approach the monastery and to go there. And then we went there, I was staying there and to talk to him and so on. And we were visited by a Thai Samaneri. And I apologize, I can't remember what her name was now, but she just came there to see me and to just talk. And that was the first time at that monastery that they had seen a woman wearing the brown robes. And I was so moved to see the beauty and the grace with which they received her, offered her a seat, Tawainampana, offered her something to drink and bowed to her and took such care of her. And we went in to see Ajahn Mahachacha. And Ajahn Mahachacha asked her, how do you know Sujata? And she said, well, all the nuns know Sujata because he's been helped the Bhikkhunis. And he just kind of nodded and smiled and he said, oh yeah, that's because he has a lot of compassion, he has a lot of kindness. And that's one of the nicest things that I've ever heard from someone. It meant so much coming from my teacher. And to me, it's just such an ordinary thing that we should support each other and we should help each other. I can't understand why people can't do it or can't find it. There's a loss. There's something. Some Dhamma is lost that people cannot actually just be normal, just to be normal and to be human. And so to me, this is part of Bhikkhuni Sangha, is part of being fully human. And I don't know what I could do if we couldn't have bhikkhunis. Many years ago, speaking with my sister, and she said she didn't know whether she could ever, really follow any religion because she felt that none of them gave women a fair go. And I had to agree with her. I'd say, yeah, you're right. I mean, it makes sense. And I didn't want to be part of a religion that would not give my own sister a fair go. It just didn't seem right. And so this is why, for me, to support the Bhikkhuni Sangha is not just about rectifying an injustice,